Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome. We're all waking up here. Woo! Welcome to the Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living. I have a couple of reminders as we begin. We all love our fabulous noisemakers that are so incredibly helpful, but make sure that you turn yours to stun or silence or whatever works for you. And so we can maintain the sanctity of our sacred time together. And then also, if you are joining us on Facebook or YouTube, welcome. We're so glad you're here. Remember that there is a closed caption button. And also, it is a highly amusing game to see whatever words it decides to put there for the closed caption, because sometimes it's right, and sometimes it's highly amusing. So we're just going to roll with that the best we can. So if you really are having trouble hearing, make sure you click the closed caption button, and then just take it with a grain of salt. It's highly entertaining. All right, so now it's my pleasure to welcome our musicians today. We have Chris Cordova on piano and Hilda Kirshner singing, and they are going to lead us in our opening song.
All right. Thank you, Kamatara. Skies smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I see. Can I have everybody stand up and sing with us? Bluebirds singing a song, nothing but bluebirds all day long. Never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things going so right, noticing the days hurrying by. When you're in love, my how they fly. Blue days, all of them gone, nothing but blue skies from now on. Never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things going so right, noticing the days hurrying by. When you're in love, my how they fly. Blue days, all of them gone, nothing but blue skies. Blue skies, nothing but blue skies from now on. Thank you.
Hey. Woo, beautiful blue skies. I love it. So welcome to the Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Rev Kamatara, and I'm so grateful for each one of you joining us today, whether you're online. Hello, we love you with our eyes. Okay, and all the people in the building. Very grateful to see you all. And then also to our loved ones who aren't here today because you're traveling and doing other fabulous things. So we're sending out a huge bubble of love, and they'll be like, wow, I feel so loved right now. They won't even know why. It'll be great. Okay, so we also want to give thanks to all the folks that are helping behind the scenes. I know that we have got the bookstore that is fabulously, up and running and ready to serve you. And we've got the tech team in the booth and the little sound garden over there. And then we have Marilyn O'Leary is on High Watch, and we've got Carmela Herrera on High Watch, and all sorts of folks helping in the kitchen. We had our greeters and our food angels and the musical inspiration, and yeah, the list just goes on and on and on. So just a moment of gratitude for all the people who work to make this service happen. All right. And knowing that this whole service is in beautiful divine right order. So let's take a moment to go to prayer as we start our service. In this moment, in this place, I take a moment to get centered. And I release whatever it took to get here this morning and all the stuff that ended up happening this morning, this week, this whatever, and get fully present to this moment, to the love that is present, to the divine that is present, to all the beloveds that are gathered here. And then I know that the divine is overjoyed to see this gathering, because we each are the beloved of the beloved. And so this morning, as we gather in this sacred time together, I know that each person hears what they need to hear and feels what they need to feel, has a beautiful and bountiful experience in their own lives and also in the way we connect with each other in this precious spiritual community. So I know that our souls are replenished by the music, by the message, by the fellowship afterwards and everything in between, and that there are huge blessings in our lives because we took time to take care of ourselves and each other by coming out on a Sunday morning to tap back into principle, to tune in to love and more love. And so knowing that this time is truly divinely guided and blessed, I let it go and let it be. And so it is. All right. Well, here at the Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living, we are anchored in the principles of science of mind, or new thought, or ageless wisdom. And 4 of our favorite basic concepts go like this. We believe that there is only one power in the universe, and it's known by many names. Doesn't matter what you call it. It is that thing that cannot be named. Thank you, Tao. So there is that one. And then we know that each one of us is an expression of that one. And so that we can tap into those qualities and principles of the divine because we are that which is really a wonderful place to be. So we believe that our thoughts are creative. So we take care of what we're creating. And we know that thoughts are things. So we are very conscious of what we are creating in our minds and expectations and things we're shooting out there. And sometimes we're very skillful and sometimes we're not, which is why we're in this spiritual community together sharing the journey. And when we see something that doesn't serve our best and highest good, that's when we practice our skills and try to take that conscious step forward to do something a little bit better. Things that would affirm our life, so we can function from that place of most potential. We also believe that everything is either love or a call for love. Thank you, Course in Miracles. We are just like-minded spirits. I love that thought. In fact, we're going to talk more about that later because that's the topic today. All right. And then also we believe that each one of us, because we are expressions of the divine, we are whole, complete, and perfect. Because how could the divine be anything less? So I do love the logic and reasoning of science of mind. I'm very grateful for that. But I also love the love that's in science of mind. So head and heart working together, and that's where we get to be practical mystics. So appreciating that aspect of science of mind. And I'm so grateful that you have chosen to be part of today's celebration because this time is very special because of you and this fabulous combination of people who are here. So I'm just curious if anyone is visiting, a first or second time person. If you feel really brave, would you let us know that you're here for a first time? Okay, we've got a first time here and in the back and inside. Ooh, we've got a whole bunch of people. Thank you for coming. Yes, and our beautiful musician is visiting. So if you afterwards, if you want to visit, there'll be a person standing back by the beautiful little roses back there. If you want to learn more or just talk to anyone that's here, you could learn more. And then after the service, we do have some time just to eat and have a little cup of coffee and whatever. So if you feel really brave, go through the kitchen and join us afterwards because we would just love to get to know you more. We're so glad you're here. So we're going to do a blessing for the people who are new, but we also know as we bless other folks, we are blessing ourselves. So go ahead and join me in this beautiful blessing. We see you. We know who you really are. You are a unique emanation of spirit. We love you. We appreciate you. And we thank God for you. Welcome to the Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living. Well, good job. Way to hang with it. All right, welcome home. Woo! Glad you're here. Thank you. So now it's time for us to read our vision and mission statements. And I know for a lot of you that are, our veteran folk, you have read this a lot. So maybe reconnect it, see it with fresh eyes, read it con un alma fuerte, like put some spirit into it. Okay, so here's our vision. Transforming our world with the power of love in action. And then our mission, loving all creation through spiritual growth and service, always staying true to our highest self. Woo, and love was in there a whole bunch, wasn't it? Seems like a theme. All right, here's our sacred reading for today. When in doubt, pull up Rumi. You can't go wrong. Okay, so our friend Rumi. Here's a beautiful poem, and to me, it reminds me of love and waking up to love. So it says, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field, and I will meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. You must ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep. People are going back and forth across the door sill where two worlds touch. The door is round and open. Don't go back to sleep. All right, it is time for some special music from Hilda Kirshner and Chris Cordova.
Thank you, Kamatara. And as most of us know, we went into a new season. We had this fall equinox last night. So we are here in a new season. The fallen leaves drift by my window. The autumn leaves of red and gold. I see your lips, the summer kisses, the sunburned hands I used to hold. Since you went away, the days, they grow long, and soon you'll hear a winter song. But I miss you most of all, my darling. When autumn leaves start to fall. Thank you.
Whew. Well, that was delicious. I could just have a whole day of that. That was fantastic. Thank you so much, Chris and Hilda, and love the fall. Sudden and dramatic shift. The blazing inferno of summer is done. So I am hoping that this will last at least for a couple of months. Okay, Divine? I'm just saying, let's make this last for a while. All right. Well, here I am, cleanup crew. It's the last week in September, and it's been a great topic this month. The topic is love, and said with fervor. Thank you, Barbara. I love this topic, and I'm also super grateful that they didn't schedule it in February, because this isn't about a Hallmark card or a Disney movie. That is not the way we do love in this spiritual community. When love is real, we know it might be a little more deep, a little more profound than a Hallmark card. So I also know, as we saw today, it is in our mission statement, transforming the world with the power of love in action, which I just saw a whole bunch of you mouthing, so yay, go us. We wrote a good mission statement. And it works. It's literally what we're up to here. So and all the talks this month have been fantastic. So if you missed any of them, please go on YouTube and look up Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living. And you have a whole bunch of options. So if you see the place where it says live, that's where you find the Sunday ones, because we went live and then that's where they get put. So if you really are digging for one, that's the place to find it. So a little YouTube trick there for you, because the talks were great. They were really good this month. I'm so excited. And some of you know I did get to go to my childhood home in August to see my elderly parents, which is always a beautiful and interesting trip, especially as my dad is getting closer to the outdoor than the indoor, as it were, and getting ready for whatever comes next. So I've really been contemplating my experience of love and having really intense experiences of love in some of the obvious places, like exactly where you'd expect to have them, and some of the really unlikely places, and in some of the strangest ways. So I've really been reflecting on, how do I experience love? And going way beyond the love languages. Yes, taco is my love language, but beyond that, okay, how do I experience love? Like, when do I actually recognize it? Or what does it have to look like for me to say, hey, there it is. That was love. I mean, we could obviously experience it through our senses, like when I, see a tender gesture between our two community members taking care of each other that's just so precious. There's a little moment of love. Or when I hear, Miguelito is conspicuously absent today, but when I hear Miguelito laughing and playing with Izzy and just like, oh, love, it's so, right? We can just feel it, it's so precious. Or whoever brought the homemade tortillas, I'm just saying, oh, that is love right there, fully loaded, love it. Or when I see the beautiful prayer shawls and just feel what's been crocheted into that prayer shawl, it's so much love. But what is it about that experience that signals to my brain, hey, that's love right there? Like, what qualifies in my subjective experience as love? That would be really interesting to explore. And so to get to that quote from A Course in Miracles, that everything is either love or a call for love. It's in chapter 14, by the way. The old English teacher me could not resist the actual quote. So it says, the only judgment involved is the Holy Spirit's one division into two categories, one of love and the other a call for love. So, could we build up our recognition of love and then discern when it's missing? That's what I'd really like to explore today, because we know that whatever we focus on, we get more of. It's like when you learn a new word and then you hear it all the time. Have you had that experience? I don't know, word nerd, it happens with me. I'm very aware of that. I also know a simple example from when I was a high school English teacher, and I was on the freshman teams at Valley High, go Vikings, and the 4 teachers had the exact same students. And we go to the team meetings, and 2 of the teachers would say, oh, these students are terrible, and they're uncooperative, and they're mean, and they're lazy, and all the things. And then the social studies teacher and I would be looking at our roster like, do we have the same kids? They're funny, they're cooperative, they're awesome, we're having a great time, they dig deep, all the things. So we realized very quickly we had completely different beliefs about the students and what was going to happen. And so we know in this spiritual community that what we believe impacts not only ourselves, but all the people who cross our paths. So what if we were to know that love is always possible? I would love to see more of that. What if we were to look for love in literally all the wrong places? That would be amazing. In fact, the executive director in me can't resist now. What would the ROI be on that, the return on investment? Like if you were to experience 10% more love in your life, would that be significant? 20%? 30%? Could you imagine the impact on your sense of well-being and goodness if you were to experience 1/3 more love each day? Wow. Worth our time. Definitely worth our time. So today I'm going to look at 3 practices to increase the love that we're experiencing. And the first one is really easy. We're going to start gentle. The first practice is to just recognize love in the easy, obvious places. So just take a moment to contemplate right now. Where or when or with whom is it really easy to experience love? Oh my goodness, did you feel that? The whole room just went whoop. It was amazing. There were smiles on your faces and your eyes. Even if they were closed, it's like they just lifted. You looked 10 years younger. There was like glitter shooting out of your head. No, I'm just kidding. But it was amazing. Instantaneously lifted. Wow. So that's an amazing place to go. I mean, I know for me, family game night at home or being in the spiritual community or with my prayer partner, friends, family, easy place to experience love. Or simple places like Skylar, our adulty child, now has his own apartment. Ooh, good job. And just washing dishes together or emptying boxes, like easy place to experience love. But I also want to suggest to you that another easy place to experience love is not just when it's happy, but when things are really sad. I feel like that's a really easy place to experience love as well. Like we experienced so much love during Miss Julia Washington's memorial service. Wow, that was just this beautiful love fest. Or, our adulty child Skylar did go through some pretty adulty things this year that were kind of hard. And, housing crisis, financial crisis, transportation crisis, relationship breakup, all the things. We're like, oh, sweet baby. And, holding my 22-year-old in my arms in the parking lot while he's just sobbing like ugly, crying snot and tears. And I'm like, oh, just like old times. Like there's so much love that I can experience right there. So the trick is, can we feel it? Can we see it? Can we experience it full on? Can we remember to acknowledge it, not take it for granted, say the words of it, breathe it in, and take that moment? Because if we can hold on to the feeling tone of that, or like the resonance of it, then we can transfer that to the next practice where it's not so easy. Okay, so the next practice is, could we practice recognizing love in the unlikely places? Maybe start simple like the grocery store or the bank Or, when you're in the airport and the flight is canceled and you've got 250 people going up to the counter agent like an angry mob. Just one person who is being loving is amazing. You can just see the ripples, like everyone around that person just changes in their nature. It's amazing to witness that. Or when I did get to go home, I had a really unusual experience with my fabulous dad, who right now, as he is getting close to his transition, is in a state of anger and depression, and he's really struggling, and it's hard, and it's messy, and it's ugly, and it's tough on my mom, and it's tough on our loved ones, and just, it is difficult. And so he said, go get my jewelry box, and he's yelling at me, and I'm like, sure, you got it, Dad, and I go, and I bring it, and he's like, take out the silver and the turquoise, and blah, 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 and he's just yelling at me. And then saying, well, you should take this because no one else is going to appreciate this. This is from the Southwest and blah, blah, blah. And then I had a moment like, wait, that recognition moment. He's giving this to me. And he's honoring this moment of like, he's starting to prepare and think. And I realized it was such a loving gesture. So it was this really incongruous experience where I was having the experience of, here's this fountain of love coming through a fire hose of rage. But that's what it had to look like in that moment. That was his best in that moment. That was the most loving thing he could do. And because I was open to it, I got to have the full experience of the love in that very unlikely moment. Or maybe a less dramatic example, a simple thing. A few years ago when I was a practitioner here, not a minister, I was the platform assistant, and I missed a step. I didn't do a certain thing I was supposed to do. I don't even remember what it was. And a community member after service took me aside and gave me a what for. And all I could think as this person was, telling me what's what is, wow, this person really loves our spiritual community. This is amazing. This person cares about the experience that our people are having. That is so beautiful. It just felt, even though I know it was a weird experience, but it was so loving. It was amazing. So what might happen if you looked for love in a situation that feels really difficult or highly unlikely? Just run the experiment, even for a week. I bet there would be some interesting experiences to have. Okay, so now we are moving on to the third practice to increase your love experience. And this one, again, not for the faint of heart. But could you practice recognizing when love is truly absent from a particular situation? The lights are out. It is dark. And is it possible for you to bring some love of your own to share, if you can? Or if you can't, do you know someone who could? Because it might be beyond your capacity in that moment to bring it, which I totally understand, because some situations, I might not be the person to bring love into that situation. But if I could even recognize, wow, we need some support here, then could I bring in a practitioner, a minister, a friend, a loving person? Like, who is the person that could bring this? And maybe it's me. It could be. So that's where it takes discernment. That is in the land of practical mysticism right there, discernment. To get really honest about what might not be present in this situation. Because again, we don't do the spiritual bypass here of like, everything's fine, especially when it's not. So it's important to get honest and to be brave. And to really think about, well, how might you bring a little bit of love and light to this situation that is struggling, or to yourself that might be struggling? It could be as simple as silently holding the high watch, watching things unfold, but just being a pillar of love in that room. There might be a different outcome. If you're doing that, it'd be interesting to try that. Maybe there's a gentle smile. that could be completely unexpected. It might release the tension. It might help someone else's storyteller in their minds take a different path to what they think is going on. That could be an interesting thing to try. Maybe there's some actual encouragement. If it's okay to do that loving touch or some kind of something as encouragement, or a direct approach, an actual statement, play with your cards face up, to even just say, wow, what would be a really loving thing we might do in this moment? That definitely would be an interesting thing to try. How might the situation or the reaction change? I have had the honor of accompanying a few people on their journey into the next life as they're, in the human form. And oftentimes the person who is getting ready to meet their maker is, kind of in the ballpark, in the zone, like, okay, things are going fine. But then when I step into the home, it's really the family that's struggling or having issues. And one particular home, I stepped into just incredible chaos, anger, grief, drama, all the things. It was not like what our dear Miss Julia experienced. It was not like a Hallmark card or a Disney movie. It was wild. The demons were running the circus. So after a couple of visits, because it took me a while, I had to get over myself. And I realized, okay, the best thing that I could do, in addition to giving up what I think this person's death should look like, because is it Stephen Levine who wrote Who Dies? He talks about your lifestyle determines your death style. Okay, so this was written far before I stepped into this room. This person's experience as he makes his transition is going to be what it needs to be for him and these people, and who am I to say what it is going to look like? It is what it is, but the one thing I could do is to show up as love and just hold the space for it, because that was the thing that seemed to be most needed in that moment. And so I sat on the couch, and when he could talk, we talked a little bit. We listened to some New Thought music. We pet the dogs. Like, sometimes we didn't talk at all. We just sat, and it was fine. And then it was kind of interesting because little by little, his family would text me, well, you should come over. He's so much more cooperative when you come over. I don't know what it is. And I was like, I don't know. That sounds great. Thank you. I would be happy to come over. So showing up, if at all possible, being the presence in the midst of whatever is going on. Could other people recognize that calming presence? Even if they can't put their finger on it, even if they can't articulate it, there is that feeling that shifts the energy, that shifts the story. So I am going to quote Stephen and Andrea Levine, Who Dies. I'm reading that right now, so you're just going to keep getting quotes from it until I'm done with the book. So he writes, when you meet the pain of another with fear, it is often called pity. When you're motivated by pity, you are motivated by dense self-interest. You are acting on an aversion you have to someone else's predicament. You want to alleviate their discomfort as a means of alleviating your own. Pity creates more fear and separation. However, when love touches the pain of another, it is called compassion. Compassion is just space. Whatever the other person is experiencing, you have room for it in your heart. It becomes work on yourself to let go, to stay open, to feel that being within you. When somebody is in incredible pain, though you cannot do anything to alleviate it, you don't withdraw. You stay soft, your hand in theirs, sharing their pain without closing around it. To have room in your heart for whatever pain arises, not differentiating between I and other, is loving compassion. So we can hold the space for each other, and we can know love for each other even when we can't know it for ourselves, which really makes me think of that James Baldwin quote. I don't know if you've heard this, but it's so beautiful. I love this author. He writes, the longer I live, the more deeply I learn that love, whether we call it friendship or family or romance, is the work of mirroring and magnifying each other's light. It is gentle work. It is steadfast work. It is life-saving work. In those moments when life and shame and sorrow occlude our own light from our view, but there is still a clear-eyed, loving person to beam it back. In our best moments, we are that for another person. And that's the best part about love. It is infinite. It is a never-ending wellspring from which to draw. Just like a candle, when we light someone else's candle, it does not diminish our own light. Light begets more light. Love begets more love. Or as Martin Luther King Jr. so famously said, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. So it's time to practice. And not just love, sweet love, thank you, Burt Bacharach, but really, we need to practice ferocious love and messy love and silent love and gentle love and warrior tough love and everything in between. Then we can always recognize love in the easy places, in the unlikeliest of places, and say, I see you there. There you are. And then become skillful so we can bring it out of the dark corners of our experience to light the room. Because when it comes to love, the goal is either to see it or be it. So I hope you all have a lovely week. Thank you. All right, let's take it to prayer. We do love to pray in this community, which I really appreciate, and certainly not praying for God's edification for my own. So as we drop into that place where we know there is that one loving source, the all that is, this sacred energy that is expressing as each person, as each thing, as each experience. For God is truly infinite, expressing in all of life as we know it and even beyond what we can understand. And so knowing that I am, you are, we are aligned with the divine that is the presence and power within, I speak my word for each person here present, that each one of us is the place where love shows up. That each one of us has our eyes open, our hearts open, our minds open to recognize love, to foster more love, to grow in our skills with love. As we grow in our skills with each other and our skills in this lifetime. Because this is the currency of this lifetime, love and more love. And so I know that anything that is unlike love falls away from us, and each one of us is that glowing light in the darkness, that candle of love for each other and all who cross our paths. So I give thanks for this sacred time together that we get to share, that we get to realign with love, with what we know to be true, with who and what we are. I am so grateful for the impact that this realignment has in our week yet to come, knowing that we are little mobile God units, that we are love out in the world, creating that beautiful rippling effect of experiencing an increase in love. And then it has a momentum all of its own. I am so grateful for the bounty of this experience and to consciously be able to choose love. So knowing that all is in divine right order, as love goes out into the world, I let it go and let it be. And so it is. Well, now it is time for our offering. So we are going to share our abundance. For those of you joining us online, there are all different ways that you can give give. And if you're in the seats, there's all different ways that you could give electronically. For those of you that donate every month on an auto pay, thank you. That is really a wonderful, easy way to go. There are also baskets in the front if you're able to share your abundance. And certainly we know as we give and receive, there's this beautiful reciprocity that happens in our lives as we practice that experience of abundance and sharing that love with everyone. So please join me in saying our giving affirmation. Awesome. I am abundant, and I give from my abundance. I am prosperous, and I give from my prosperity. I am blessed, and I give from my blessings. My blessings of spirit are as abundant as the stars, and so I give and receive generously, and so it is. And now it's time for some more special music with Chris and Hilda.
I took one look at you. That's all I had to do. And then my heart stood still. My feet could step and walk. My mouth could move and talk. And then my heart stood still. Not a single word was spoken. I could tell you knew that simple clasp of hand told me so well that you knew. I never lived at all until that thrill of that moment when my heart stood still. And not a single word was spoken. I could tell you knew that simple clasp of hand showed me so well that you knew. I never lived at all until that thrill of that moment when my heart stood still. Until that moment when my heart stood still. Thank you, thank you.
Aw. Woo, go chromatic scale. I love that. You had to stay with it. It's all the way down. It's perfect. All right. Well, let's take a moment to bless these offerings, whether you gave electronically or in here, or giving your time, your talent, your treasure, all that good stuff. Take a moment to bless the beautiful gifts of the spiritual community. Thank you, sweet spirit, for all the gifts in this beautiful community, the way we share and support each other. I also give thanks for ways that this teaching and the beautiful things we get to do goes out into the world and makes a huge difference in our lives and in the lives of all who cross our path. I know as we give and receive, each person is truly blessed more than we could ever imagine. And so it is. Beautiful. All right. Well, We do love to pray in this community. So after service, if you would like a prayer with a practitioner, you can go into the prayer garden over by where Marilyn and Greg are, and our beautiful practitioners will be over there to serve you with a mini prayer and have a moment. And whether it's something that you're hoping to bring into your life, or you'd like to say, wow, things are so good, I would like more of that, please. That's a great prayer too, because we know that the universe says, yes, my beloved, I will make that true for you. So prayer is really powerful. And if you're online, you could go to our website, the rgcsl.org, and click prayer. Or if you just want to write out a prayer request, there's some, I think, in the back of the seats. There's some on the back table. There's a beautiful little box where you put your prayer in it. And no matter what it is, our practitioners are going to pray over that all week long. So you'll be super supported in prayer. And it is time for some of our announcements. Do we have someone who's given our announcements today? Oh, that's cool. All right, from the tech booth, it's Reverend Gill online.
Good morning, everybody.
It's me too.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Reverend Kamatara. I didn't realize you were going to have to do the whole service. Great job. Thank you. Hilda, that's great music. We really appreciate it.
So we're coming to you live from San Diego, California, and bringing you all the pertinent announcements for Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living for September 24th. Thank you all so much for loaning me your minister.
Now, Brian Kurtz, our head of the announcement ministry team, has given me specific authorization to do these announcements. However, he did note that he would not be responsible for anything we say. So let's take it from there.
Hey, I only speak truth. I understand his hesitation with you, but anyway. Okay, so maybe you've heard about the gathering next week. They are saying that this will be a very important gathering in the social hall immediately after service on Sunday, October 1st. But this isn't just any old meeting or what do you call them? Community, what is it?
Annual meeting.
Annual meeting. It's not that. This is a celebration of abundance. Who wouldn't want to miss that? You don't want to miss the news about all the wonderful things that are going on at Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living, because they couldn't have happened without you. So there's so much happening, and you definitely want to be a part of it. So be there. He'll be there. I'll be there. So you can even zoom in with us. We are so cutting edge here. You can zoom in and not miss a thing.
All right. So that's next week after service. Today after service, Cheryl Ray is offering some acupressure as part of the healing circle thing that we have going on each week after service. So please connect with her if you'd like to get a little rejuvenation. And for more information in general about the healing circle activities and how to participate yourself, you need to contact Grace Woods. And that information you can find in various places. Perhaps even she's there today. And now, if you like to make a lot of noise with a bunch of people, then I think a circle might be for you. So we've had great success. People have really loved these. And I'm inviting you to put October 11th at 5:30 Wednesday on your calendar. It's our next drumming circle, and it will certainly be a lot of fun.
Okay, this is very important. Do not leave the building today without signing up for the early bird price at the community retreat. Okay, think back to the community camping trip, the fun, the connection, the card games. Now go to the Labor Day picnic, the joy, the playfulness. Now imagine if you put those two events together and you added some spiritual deepening and homemade cookies. That sounds like the kind of love that Kamatara was talking about today, right? So you don't want to miss out. Go directly to the sign-up table and join the 13 people that have already signed up and are packed and ready to go. I'm one of them, and I want to see you there.
So just as a note, all of our regular events are located on our website, rgcsl.org. You can also sign up there for the newsletter if you don't already get it, and we'd love to have you.
And the bottom line is, the RGCSL community is all of us together. No matter where we are, it doesn't happen without you. So have a blessed week, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Great to see you.
Wow, that was fancy. And it's good to see Reverend Gill and his beautiful wife, Robin, out in San Diego, and then he'll be back next week, obviously. So I appreciate this crazy world we live in where we can just do that kind of stuff. That's awesome. All right, so we are going to have a benediction right now, and then we are going to have our closing song. And I hope that after the closing song, that those of you who want prayers are going to come over to the prayer garden. And for those of you who have time for fellowship, go through the kitchen and get some treats and enjoy each other's company. And Greg, what else?
I have a question.
Yes.
Last month at the drumming circle, I showed up at 6 o'clock and they told me, no, it's 5 o'clock. And Gil just said it's
5:30. You know what? Sherry Noon isn't here. 5 or 5:30? Okay.
The website says 2, I think.
Okay.
5 as opposed to...
Yes. So thank you. We'll definitely get that clarified and make sure that it really gets in the bulletin like, hey, it's really this time. Verified time. All right. Thank you for asking that question. All right. Let's take it to prayer, and then we'll have our closing song. What a glorious day this has been, and it's just going to get more gloriouser and more gloriouser as it goes, because this is a day of love and more love, and there are no superlative words that could possibly capture the infinite nature of love. And so I know that each person here is truly blessed with an increased experience of love, being the light in the darkness and seeing that light in each other. And so knowing each person is truly guided and blessed by love all week long, I let it go and let it be. And so it is.
I thought I'd do this song this morning. This was a song that we often did at closing. It was often our closing song when our last minister, Martha Quintana, was our minister. And we'll do What a Wonderful World. So if we can have everyone stand and do your best at singing, here we are. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, world.